Who is it?
It's Dave, man. Will you open up? I got the stuff with me.
Who?
Dave, man. Open up.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave. Come on, man. Open up. I think the cops saw me.
Dave's not here.
For 50 years, Tommy Chong has been an icon of the entertainment industry. He started out successfully as a musician, releasing hit records and doing sketch comedy in Vancouver. But when he met Richard Cheech Marin, he made comedy history with Cheech and Chong, selling out arenas worldwide and making multiple platinum records with outrageous pot-themed comedy. When Hollywood called, Cheech and Chong answered, hitting it big with one of the biggest comedy hits ever in Up in Smoke, a stoner film classic that endures to this day.
It's locked, man.
Oh, let go. Let go, man. Come on in. Hey, what's going on? There's a bus, man. We got to figure out some way to get you out of here, man.
But at the height of their success, Cheech and Chong went their separate ways. Tommy stayed true to his cannabis roots and cemented his status as a stoner hero. He continued to speak out for cannabis in all its forms, appearing at marijuana events all over the country. He was named High Times Magazine Freedom Fighter of the Year, appearing on the cover of the magazine. In the late 90s, he founded a successful glass smokeware company, Tommy Chong Bongs. However, in 2004, he was busted for selling those bongs and served a year in jail. But after his release from prison, to the delight of the stoner world, Cheech and Chong reunited and now tour regularly. Their act remains as fresh and as funny as it did for 4 decades, and the comedy of Cheech and Chong has been introduced to a brand new audience. Today, Tommy Chong is fighting cancer, but he uses cannabis as part of his treatment, and he relies upon his deep sense of spirituality to see him through. Tommy Chong remains our leader and our legend. Hey everybody, my name is Dan Sky, editorial director. I was lucky enough to shoot 3 covers of Tommy Chong. He has been on the cover 8 times for High Times Magazine, and he is an inspiration. Next to Jack Harrer, there is nobody like Tommy Chong, and here he is. You win the Lifetime Achievement Award. Let me get the award for you. Take over.
First of all, I want to thank High Times for this wonderful event that we're having. This is a lot of fun, isn't it? Yeah, it's just like a circus. And we're the performers. That weed is so good here. Ooh. Yeah, and I did take cannabis for my cancer, and I got a report that it doesn't really cure it, but it gets the cancer cells so stoned that they forget why they're there. And eventually they just fuck off, so it's cool, man. Yeah. Who would have believed, man, that you get cancer and a plant like pot can just wipe it out? Whew. And the government still thinks it has no medical value whatsoever. It's weird, man. All Obama has to do is reschedule, and we're done. But until he does, we're all going to be outlaws for a while, I guess. Huh? Yeah, I had to quit smoking pot, and I think that's why I got cancer. Seriously. When I went to jail, I had to quit for like 3 years, you know, pre-probation, jail time, and then post-jail probation. And I did it 3 years without smoking at all. And, you know, people ask me, you know, how did you do it? I said, well, I had no choice, you know. And that was the greatest thing about pot, that you don't really have to smoke it. It's so kind to you that if you don't want to smoke it, it'll say, okay, I'll be here when you get ready. And so quitting didn't hurt me at all. It was enjoyable because it was fun being straight after all those years. It was like another high. Fuck, being straight, man, it's a high. Because you understand what other people are trying to tell you. See, when you're stoned, you don't give a shit. You know what you're thinking, and that's all that counts. Yeah. This weed, man, is going to save the world. It is. They've done studies, man, and one thing about pot, no violence. No violence, man. It makes you peaceful. And they've done studies, man. They found out, that pot really is the answer to gun control. Really. Get those fuckers high, man. Then they forget who they're pissed off at. Life's so simple when you're high, man. Everything makes sense. Total. Even when you're fucked up, even when you're in some fucked situation that, it's impossible. Like you got caught going through a red light after waiting for the stoplight to change colors. And all of a sudden, the cops are there. And you're in the middle of the intersection and you're fucked up. And the only thing you can do when the cops come over is laugh. Because it's so fucking funny what you just did. And then when the cops see that, man, there's no violence. They don't feel violent. I've gotten out of more shit by making cops laugh than I can count, man. And when I was in jail, they treated me like a hero. The police, the guards, yeah. It was great, man. People asked me in jail, asked me there, do you miss Cheech? And I said, no. And they said, why? I said, because I'm here with a lot of Cheeches. Everywhere I look, there's Cheech, man. So I made it through that jail thing. It was nothing, man. It was great. Then I got to come to events like this, man. Who would have thought? Imagine, I went to jail for 9 months for a bong. Isn't that a stoner's fucking dream? Because when I was in jail, they said, it was weird. They would say, why are you here? And these are hardened criminals. They're in there for murder, they're in for rape, they're in for, horrendous crimes. And they say, what did you do? And I said, I mailed a bong. Yeah. And they'd say, wow, fuck, man. What's a bong? They thought I was saying bombs. And I never got high once in jail. I got offered a lot, but then they drug test me a half hour later. Yeah, they were trying to bust me for smoking pot in jail so they could have a headline, Tommy Chong caught smoking pot in jail. But I had a buddy there that saved my ass, and in fact, he was from San Bernardino. He was an old biker named Steve. He was my dog when I was in jail. And every time anybody offered me a joint, old Steve would tell him, hey, get the fuck out of here. Leave him alone. And then they'd drug test me because they were trying to catch me. And then if they caught me, they would put me in, I would get more time in jail. So the pot is so beautiful, man, because you don't have to smoke it. You only smoke it because you want to smoke it. Isn't that beautiful?
Love you, Tommy.
Isn't that something to be hooked on? To be addicted to? Something kind and sweet, man. gift from God. The burning bush. That's what God gave Moses. God appeared to Moses in the form of a burning bush.
Yes, I.
Personally, he saw Moses standing there, and he said, "Mo, come here, boy." He said, "This bud's for Jews." And that God dope stayed lit for 40 years, man. And Moses wandered the desert for 40 years, and the people followed him. And they cried out, "Moses, Moses, give us a hit, motherfucker." Come on, shotgun, shotgun. And 40 years they wandered the desert. What were they looking for? The land of milk and honey. The fuckers had the munchies. Yeah, weed is going to save the world. And our job is to make sure that the world gets saved. So we have to spread the good news, share the weed, and enjoy life, because that's all we got. Thank you.
Just want to read the award to Tommy Chong here for his lifelong devotion to cannabis.